the players love Gunner. They want to play hard for him. He doesn't complain. He doesn't point fingers mad at Barry, and he doesn't lay blame. He takes hits on the chin and takes some pretty vicious ones, and he gets up and goes on to the next play. I think there's a lot of respect and humility of the other players on the offense and really the whole team they have for Gunner.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I
we
should say that
bur
was Kirby Smart.
that was Kirby Smart talking about Gunnar Stockton, but that's what he's said the entire offseason. Every time we try to ask him about what does Gunnar do well, what are some of his strengths, he just wants to talk about his leadership and how everyone loves him. This is his fourth year in the program, first full year starting, but this team, they know him. They know his practice habits. They know his competitiveness. They know how much of a team guy he is. He's not one to talk a lot. He feels like the Nick Chubb of quarterbacks, really. He's going to go in, work hard, do his job. Uh, not do a whole lot of talking. And when he does talk, he's just smiling, saying the right thing. But he's such a nice kid, but he's a guy that you love to rally behind because he can make those big throws and take those big hits. When he hit Zachariah Branch on that slant where he's getting drilled as he's throwing the ball and put it right where it needed to be, that was huge. And I think they've seen his clutch gene come out and him make big throws and practice all the time. And I think even Raylan Wilson and Chris Cole may have mentioned it. These defenders, they love Gunnar Stockton, it feels like just as much as the players on offense do. So they know who their leader is, and they saw him make the big plays. Gunnar Stockton had his moments. The coaches and the players have seen it in practice. Everyone got to see it in Neyland Stadium, but he's won over Kirby Smart. He's won over the rest of the players. This is his team, and he showed it once and for all, I think, on Saturday.
They love him. It can't be. I don't think it could be overstated how much they love Gunnar Stockton. He posted on Instagram yesterday, and I'm looking through the comments section, and it's just player after player after player on that team, just commenting something positive, something supportive. Dylan Bell, Nate Frazier, guys on defense, Tyke Smith, Malachi Starks, right? Guys that saw him or knew about him when he was in high school or saw him on scout team the last few years. They know they've got a gamer at quarterback and a guy that's willing to lay his body on the line, whether it is while he's throwing the ball or while he's running the ball. They echoed on Saturday after the game that they didn't learn anything about Gunnar Stockton because they already felt that way about him. They already knew that about him. But this was something that was instantaneous that we could tell when he got put into the Texas game and the way that they were talking about him leading up to the Notre Dame game. All three of us were walking around that media day at the Sugar Bowl, and they love him, right? He's got to do it on the field, but the fact that they've got that support and that chemistry, it's the DNA of a championship team, right? We don't know if they're going to be good enough to win a championship, but team really cared about Stetson, right? I think that they were pretty much in unison that Stetson was their guy. They really emphasized those championship years, all of the kind of the off-field stuff and the connection and all that. And I think that you hear that a little bit a lot of it with fire, passion, and energy. Gunner is that, right? Because he's really quiet, but on the field, he's a different person. And to me, it's so shocking how there wasn't just a little bit more national support. We talked about it in a different video. Kind of the starting point of our conversation was the national view of Gunner. This is a highly recruited quarterback, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in Georgia history. And it just didn't really make sense to me why such a small sample size in a really tough situation from last year was enough for people to just be like, I don't think that's a guy that's necessarily going to have a lot of success. Right now, he's on track to have a great season.
Man, I want to revisit something that you said after the Marshall game. You said, I wrote the quote down. People can watch it in riding home. By the way, over 15,000 people watched our riding home. We really appreciate it. You can join our newsletter, which is absolutely free. We actually type that newsletter by hand. We use our hands to type that. Matt, you said this could be a special season if Georgia plays well on the road. I don't know if they played well on the road, but they got one of the biggest wins they've gotten on the road. Well, since Texas, I guess. But like all road wins are not created equally. That was a pretty special win for Georgia. I want to visit that topic again, though. They can have a special season if they play well on the road. They've still got Auburn on the road. Mississippi State looks better. How does Gunner help them, and where are you with your prognostication moving forward? at DeKalb County Public Schools.
Well, I think you learn a lot about your team in a different way when you win a tight game on the road compared to at home. There's just more adversity. Everyone's against you. And when you can have a come from behind win like that, and he said it himself, he learned a lot about this team. And, you can grow up on the road. It's a little tougher to grow up at home in that environment. But again, if I knew that if they could go up to Neyland Stadium and win and go over to Auburn, which can be really, really tricky, and win there, you had your other big opponents at home, right? Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss. So I knew if they were good enough to win on the road that, handling those teams, I say beating those teams would, at home is a little easier. But now we've seen Gunnar Stockton make big throws and big plays on the road too. So we know he's got that in him. He's got that DNA, big moment, big throw factor in him, and he showed that on the road. So I learned a lot about this team after that. Again, it's a no fight, no flinch, tough, hardworking team that believes in each other, and that's definitely something that we saw.
I'm sorry, Ryan. Let me ask you it this way: how can you tell that they believe in Gunnar? You talked about the Sugar Bowl, which I agree with that part, but how can you visually? The three of us see things that other people don't see, and what are you seeing, Ryan, post game or near Butts-Mehre, the football facility or whatever? Is there something that you can see? The answer can be no.
Yeah, one of the best examples I think was that pro day that we got to watch.
I forgot about
You'd
that.
see Aaron Smith and Dominic Lovett. I mean, their moods completely changed when Gunnar Stockton showed up to. I mean, they're trying to get locked in, right? They're about to work out in front of NFL teams, but Gunnar walks into the building, walks over there. They know he's about to throw to him, and they're just lighting up. Their faces. They were so happy to see him, to hug him, and just to be able to throw the ball with him. SEC championship, right? One of those first couple plays where he just kind of lowers his shoulder, gets that short first down run. You see how excited that sideline got. You see Kirby Smart cry in that post game interview on the sideline of that SEC championship game. There's a lot of emotions, a lot going on. Part of that had to do with Gunnar Stockton. I mean, it was him saying this kid's a winner, man, is what brought the tears to his eyes, and he had to leave that interview. You can definitely see it. You just see the way that they interact with him. It was different than their previous quarterback. That's all I got to say. We're not going into too far into knocking Carson Beck or anything like that, but the relationship with the team is visibly different.
Well, I think he's the same age as these guys. I mean, Carson, people forget about Carson, who I've nothing, I don't know why it has to be that there's something bad said about Carson when he's brought up that by Georgia. We're not participating in that. Carson was older. His team was more the 2023 team. Gunners, these guys are more Gunner's age, frankly. That's part of it. I do think he's a better teammate, generally speaking. I think all quarterbacks are not the same on that thing. I mean, I remember Stetson for the Tennessee game in 22. I asked him after that game. He was staring at the Tennessee sideline like he never did that. But that game he did, and he told me after the game that he wanted his offensive line to see him do that. Like, so guys are and that was old. Stetson was old, man. So different quarterbacks do different things. The all shucks Gunnar Stockton thing, I think sells for these guys. Matt, it seems like you're shaking his head, but you've seen him play. You know he's not all shucks. That's not the way he is when he's out there. You got something, so who's got something to say? Because I've seen Gunnar, man. I've heard him. This guy's a dog now. He is not. He's out there to bite you.
Go, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean it's similar to what we've been saying, but the competitive the fire, passion, energy. I'll go with that. Whatever they're looking for out of their team this year, he is that. And you saw that at Rabin. You see it here now. It's a survival instinct. It's a human survival instinct to not want to take those hits when you're making throws like that. There are quarterbacks out there that will take that sack or will throw that ball away, that throw to Zachariah Branch. Little things like that. Him getting up from that hit from Andrew Makuba where his helmet goes flying, him just getting up like that. Those little moments are like, oh man, the quarterback is doing that, and he's supposed to be our leader. It sets an example I think that people love that he's quiet and that he leaves it all out on the field. I think that the teammates kind of get a kick out of that, how he just turns into a different person on the field. I think that this season can be really big for them. And I think even if he's not, I think that one of the knocks on him is maybe he doesn't have an NFL arm. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know if I know the answer to that quite yet, but doesn't mean he can't have an electric college season. I do think that the love and the teammate aspect probably matters more than people realize.
Yeah, I think he's got a little Baker Mayfield in him without the constant barking. Just he's a gamer. He just plays well. I think he feels the pocket well. He can take off with his legs. He's not exactly the runner that Baker is, but just he plays with that toughness and that energy that you see with Baker. And when I watched Gunnar in high school, I said, well, this is kind of a Johnny Manziel type of guy because he was just running through teams left and right. I know it was North Georgia and all that, but
Yeah,
he
but they
was
played pace
really
too, man. They
effective
played
runner.
Prince Avenue. They played pace. They played some teams.
They did, and he always made plays, always on the
Always.
ground, through the air. He lit up the stat sheet every week. The guy knows what he's doing, and I think you could see him being more comfortable, especially when he's creating plays and sticking in the pocket. Kirby said that after the game. I just want him to trust his pocket a little bit more. But I do think we're seeing him play better and better. It wasn't great against Austin P, but the more I dig into how he played against Tennessee, the more I'm really, really impressed.
Well, they're not there yet. He's not there yet. That was
Yeah.
his fourth start. I mean, it took Stetson 7 or 8 starts. Is that what I was saying earlier? I think it took Jake Fromm until probably, I mean, almost the Rose Bowl. I mean, I think that's probably extreme. He played pretty well against Mississippi State, but like they were not asking him to do things against Florida or Tennessee. They didn't play well against Auburn. It took Jake Fromm a little bit of time. It takes everyone time. So I think that's the thing. We've not seen the best of Gunnar yet. I'm just telling y'all. He will go backwards some, but his potential and his capabilities are, I've seen it. It's going to happen. Saturday was a slice of that. I think Saturday is what he is. He can do all of those things. He will also have games where he does not play well. He will have times where he plays better than he does against Tennessee. But on the whole, I think what we saw Saturday was about the average. We can't do this without y'all. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. We'll see you all in the next video.